layouts, and we are back Slayin' Snow and Cocoa. Today I'm going to use this 2-page layout from Page Maps. It's from their April 2014. I will link that below for you guys so that if you want to check it out, you can. So I am chugging along, getting lots and lots of layouts done. I'm really excited. I'm really close to finishing all of my photos. So I'm actually going to have to look to see what else I can scrapbook to get this paper pad used up. I would say that I'm more than a third of the way, or 2/3 of the way done. I probably have about a third of the paper left. And when I do finish, I will show you all of the layouts that I made from this paper pad so that you guys can kind of see them all together. Now I do use cracked pistachio, and I think that's probably the ink that I used across the board on this one. I really like that green, minty green color that showcased with this paper. So the way the sketch reads, and I could be totally wrong on this, but it's almost like that paper that's on the left spans all the way to the right hand side. And even though I am trying to use up the paper, I didn't want to waste all of it, because I mean that's probably 6-7 inches back there. And I also didn't want that washi tape to show through. That washi tape is translucent, so it would have not looked right behind it. So I did go ahead and cut it so that there's no paper behind the photos. And I cut the paper on the left hand side of the layout like 1/4 of an inch to go across the right hand side of the layout. I do use this tree paper, and I'm really liking this tree paper, but unfortunately I cut it all in this horizontal format, and so all the scraps that I have, I keep wanting to use them in a vertical way, and I can't do that with the way that I've cut the paper. So for this side, I know that it wasn't going to line up because I needed a full 12 inches for the left hand side of the paper, so I just went ahead and cut it just a little piece, that 1/4 of an inch on the right hand side of the layout, and then went ahead and laid it back down on the other side and cut off the edges on that. These photos are from, I think, the first, maybe the second night that we were there at the cabin, and we wanted to go out and see the lake. So there's a big lake behind the cabin. It was frozen solid. And the photos that I'm putting down right there, the boys are writing their name in the snow, but on top of the ice. So when you look at their names, which unfortunately I didn't get a picture of just their names after they wrote it, you were able to see the frozen water underneath the picture. So I thought that was really cool. I decided to overlap the photo like it shows in the sketch. So most of the photos on the left hand side, and then I cut a little strip and put it on the right hand side. And it was just snow, so it wasn't a big deal to cut that piece off. And then this photo down here, I used just a scrap piece of paper in that pink and put a little mat behind it. I do end up using this 3x4, and I cut it down to 3x3. It says lots and lots of fluffy snow, because that was definitely what was going on. I do decide to put that up on Pop Dots, so it gives a little bit of dimension against all of those photos that are right next to it. And because it's overlapping both of those photos on the bottom, I think that that dimension really helped. I pulled out this tag here with the polar bear on it, and he's so stinking cute. I also end up putting him up on Pop Dots, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I know that I use a lot of Pop Dots. I know that I don't need to use that many, but I don't like the way my photos or my embellishments, whatever the Pop Dots are on, if I don't put them across the entire back piece of it, it bows in the center, and I don't like that. I do prefer the fun foam, and I will be getting some of that here shortly because I'm almost done with those pop dots that I found. I put in this winter tag and pulled out my Tim Holtz tiny attacher and attached a couple staples to the top and the bottom of it. And then of course putting some liquid adhesive on this wood veneer because we know they all don't stick down, and we have to make sure that we do that. I have a pile of layouts that I didn't do that on that I am determined to get done so that I can put them in their album. I just have to go back and add some liquid glue, and they haven't even been done probably in the last maybe 6 months, and the layouts are already coming apart because I didn't put liquid adhesive behind the chipboard pieces. I pulled out these little tiny triangles in the gold, and I added those right underneath the polar bear. And then I found this card here. It's from Ellie Studios, and I really wanted something to mimic the sketch there where I was able to journal, and I really like the teal of this card and the way that it came out. So I used the polar bear tag to cover up most of it, and then I was still left with the GHT, so I'm looking through all of the different embellishment pieces, and I left all of this in to show you guys that it doesn't always come together. Sometimes we struggle, and I really went through all of the embellishments. I laid out a bunch of different things, and I just couldn't find anything that worked. So I remembered that I had this little 6x6 paper pad that I haven't used a whole lot of, so I pull out this paper that has the snowflakes on it, and I use my heart punch, and I'm going to add the big heart over the GHT so that you can't see it. And then the rest of the hearts that I cut out, I'm going to scatter across the layout to bring all of that craft and gold color together. And I really like putting that little tiny heart on the end of the polar bear. I think it just gives it a little extra like dimension and just a little extra touch there. My title is going to be A Flurry of Happiness, and I struggle with this title. So I moved this polar bear like 4 times to get this title right. So I laid down the happiness, then I made the mistake of putting the polar bear back down because I wanted the polar bear to overlap the P's in the happiness. Then I pulled out these gold letters to spell out the word flurry. And I love the way that sits right there on the white part of it. So I thought, well, I'm going to need to move my happiness up so that it can sit right next to the flurry. Then realized that I needed to add the word A and the word of. So I pull out my Ellie Studio stickers and this purple to add the word A. And then I was going to add the word of, and they were too big. I couldn't make them fit. And I couldn't move flurry over any because I really wanted it to stand out on the white. And so I'm struggling, I'm trying, I'm thinking I'm going to fit it all in there. I pull out a different set of Ellie Studio letters and think that that's going to work, which it doesn't. So what do I end up having to do? Pulling the polar bear up again and moving the happiness back down to where it was so that I can add the word of in these block letters. And I do like the word of. I don't think that had I done all of that I would have ended up with those block letters, but I think that they stand out more on that tree paper than they would have if I just used the other Ellie Studios. Now I am just adding a few hearts in that black foam as well from the title, and then I'm going to add my journaling. And my journaling says, we decided to check out the frozen lake, and Adam decided to write his name in the snow. We had so much fun with all the fluffy snow. So here is my final layout, as well as some close-ups. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layouts, make sure you hit that subscribe button because that's all you're going to get on my channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.